Hello and welcome to the first episode of my MotoGP 21 career mode. Today we'll be just sort of sorting out what team I'm riding for and doing the first race of the season at Qatar. So without any further ado, let's get straight into it, press new career. So welcome to the MotoGP 21 managerial career. Step into the shoes of a professional rider and begin your journey towards the World Championship title. Get ready to confront the MotoGP heroes and to deal with all aspects of life of a real racer. So you can select your debut class, you can start in MotoGP or you can start from Moto3. With help your personal manager you'll find contracts. It seems to be virtually the same as the last year. And once you get into Moto2 you can start with your junior team, but that's not a good idea. You should wait till you're in MotoGP to do it, I would have thought. So we'll continue here then. Of course we're going to start in Moto3. Wouldn't be a proper career mode without it. But here comes the first change. We actually get to pick the official or the full calendar. So there's the official 2021 calendar, which has got all the cancellations on it. So it's got the double header at Qatar, Portimao's round 3, and you've got the full calendar, which has got Termas and Austin on it. But it has also got Portimao, which I didn't think was meant to be on the official calendar. So I think that's just Milestone putting all of the tracks into one calendar, sort of in the order that they should have appeared, and then the official 2021 calendar. But I think I'm going to spice things up and go with this official 2021 calendar. I'm hoping that we can actually change it between seasons. It says choose the format of the next championship, so I'm guessing we get to pick this every season. So I think for this first season, I'll go with the official 2021 calendar, just a bit more realistic. But probably for the ones afterwards, we'll go with the full calendar, so we still get to play Termas and Austin, because I don't really want to miss out on those tracks. But I feel like it's a novelty to have this official 2021 calendar, so we'll go with that. So personal manager, the first step of your career is to join a team, so time has come to hire a personal manager. So telling us about the different ranking and stuff, but obviously it's all the same as last year. So we got Ivan Olic, Giuseppe Spizico, or Spizico, I'm not 100% sure how that would be pronounced. We got Harry Patiwal, Lucia Martinez, and Lucas Wagner. So quite a few difficult to pronounce names there. So let's have a look at the different stats of them. So Lucia Martinez is quite well rounded, same with Lucas Wagner, 15, 15, 10. Then you've got 10, 10, 20, so they're good at looking for offers. Now, obviously, in MotoGP 20, I went more for the credit side of things. So if we stick with that, we can go with Ivan Olic, but he can't get us quite as many teams. He gets us a good salary, which is probably quite important later on in the career mode when we have a MotoGP class, but it might be better to look for just a decent team to start with. They're all the same price, so there's no discrepancy there. I'll go with Ivan Olic here, just to try and get the most credits we can, so we'll sign him on. I pressed A on that, it didn't work, but there we go, it worked the second time. So that's taken us right down to the bottom of the amount of credits we got then, so we can search for contracts with factory teams or establish new teams. So last year, of course, I went through and did DHL Honda. That's what I did on MotoGP 20. This year, I think I'm going to go with a factory team, just to change it up a little bit. We'll go with an official team. We can always change later on if we want to establishment of a new team in a later on season. Perhaps we can do that once we get to MotoGP or something. And of course, then when we run the junior teams in later seasons as well, we'll have those. So we'll go with a factory team. So it's telling us about the different expectations here, but of course it doesn't actually matter to us because we already know what it all means from MotoGP 20. So we've got the BOE Our Ride team, we've got Real Avintia at Moto3, and we've got CIP Green Power. So we're on a KTM, regardless, it's a bottom tier KTM. And if we have a look then at the different expectations, so CIP have actually got quite high expectations, to be honest, considering whereabouts they are. But of course they do give us the highest salary. Actually, they don't even give us the highest salary. The highest annual salary is actually from Avintia, which has lower expectations. So Avintia gives us 180,000 credits yearly, but I suppose the goal bonus might be higher. No, the goal bonus isn't even higher for CIP, so there's not much point. The team performance is the same for all of them, so obviously they're all KTMs, but they're all started at the same base level, so you don't have to take that into account. The best contract here definitely is the Real Avintia one, because it's got the same expectations as the BOE one, with top 10, 15, top 10 championship, top 15 race goal, qualifying goal, 4th row, whereas CIP has got, you need 3rd row, you need top 5 in the championship, top 10 in the race, which should still be achievable. I'm going to be disappointed if I'm not fighting for those, but we may as well go for the contract that's easier to meet the objectives and gives us more money for doing so. So we'll sign with Avintia here, because that seems to be the best the best contract that we can get. So this is my rider. There's actually a new helmet in the game that I actually quite like, a new X-Lite helmet. I'll probably mod in my normal helmet at some point, but for now we'll stick with this. No mods so far, so we'll go ahead and confirm. And that's quite cool. We actually get the transition that they have in real life. Hopefully that doesn't cause any issues sort of with any copyright or anything like that. Hopefully there's no content ID problems. And here we are then looking at the Avintia team. Of course, our teammates will be Niccolo Antonelli and Carlos Tatai. For some reason, our number's really low compared to theirs. Not quite sure why the projection isn't higher up for the Avintia team. But here we go then. Of course, we've got a direct path to MotoGP with this team as well, because they've got the MotoGP team. This is telling us about the calendar then, so of course we already know how the calendar works. That's the championship standings, that's pretty obvious. Contract management, technical staff management, and headquarters. So this is something new here then. Release your bike's hidden potential. Your headquarter engineers can produce new research data to spend on developing new expansions for your bike. Furthermore, you can gain reputation in the MotoGP class to increase your HQ level and get new engineers. So that's actually a little bit different than last year, where you kind of just had to manage your different engineers. So if we go on to here then, development area. So this seems to be the same screen here as last year. It's just grey rather than blue. So the upgrades, I'm guessing, are going to work the same as in MotoGP 20. So we've got the research data production. So we've got one engineer here on the engine, and then the rest are all on the frame. So that kind of seems a little bit really poorly weighted, but I'm guessing, yeah, they're all frame engineers. If actually, no, half of them are like not. So I'm going to actually reorganise that and split it 50-50, 4 on one, 4 on the other. Some of them had 25 for engine and frame, so I just took those across to the engine. So we've got 125 weekly production on both. I think that seems fair. We'll see, of course, once we get to the first race where I feel like we need to improve. I'm guessing we've got no research data. No, we have 50. We've got 50 research data currently, then, so we can't do any upgrades so far. We need 400 for this first engine upgrade, and we need 300 for this first frame, but we actually have 200 already. So we'll advance forward 1 week then. And that should actually allow us to do an upgrade in the next week. So on to week 2 of the career mode then. And actually there's a little indicator then next to frame telling us that we actually have enough now to upgrade this component. That's quite cool. It's a handy little feature actually, that, because you could easily miss it on MotoGP 20. So that's something good that they've definitely added there. So we'll do that, and I'll just stick all the frame people on it. I'm not going to stick anybody that's working on the engine onto it. So it'll take 3 weeks to do that with 4 of the members of staff on there. Of course, the other 4 are on the engine. So all the frame engineers are now doing that frame upgrade. So it'll take 3 weeks to do that, and we're still quite a bit short actually of the engine upgrade. So we'll have to advance forward a couple more weeks until we can upgrade that engine. So we still can't upgrade that engine by the looks of it. So we'll advance forward 1 more, and there we go then. So that frame upgrade's got 1 more week to go. We've got a notification on technical staff as well. So a new candidate available, a C+. For now, we're going to leave it because there's no point hiring someone literally immediately after we've just joined the team. So we'll leave it for now. But the engine, we can now put that upgrade on. So I will do that. So that'll take 4 weeks to do that one then. So we've got all the people doing something. So on the engine, we've got the 4 people we had on the research. And on the frame, we've got the 4 people we had on the research. So I wanted to make sure I hadn't stolen anybody off the frame by accident. But there's only 1 more week of the frame upgrade to go anyway. We have got a notification on the calendar here. So it's payment of salaries, and then the development completes on the next one. So we'll just advance forward again to the next week where that frame upgrade is now complete. And we've got a notification on here. I guess it's just telling us that that part is now done. So how much do we need for that? We need 500 for that, 400 for this one. So we'll stick them back on the research again. So they're back on the research now, so we'll keep advancing forward. I guess there's nothing you can really do at this point in the season, just waiting for the season to start. So we've now got a notification on the personal manager here on week 7. So another candidate available, but once again the same sort of thing with the technical staff. There's not really much point hiring someone. We've literally just started the career mode. But that engine upgrade is now done as well, so it actually seems like the upgrades are going really, really fast on this game. I don't know if it's faster than Moto3 was in MotoGP 20, but we've already got an upgrade on both the engine and the frame. And we can now put this engine, we can put this frame upgrade on as well. So that one will take 4 weeks. And then now for the research data, we need to put the engine people back on research because their upgrade is just completed. I kind of forgot what it was like to manage all this because I haven't done upgrades for such a long time. Another technical staff candidate here, so he actually is quite a bit better, but again, for the minute we'll leave it. There's no point really hiring anybody on the first episode. And we've got a couple of notifications here, so we're actually pretty close now to the 2 Qatar races. You can see week 10 and 11, so we'll be onto track very, very shortly. Another new set of candidates on the technical staff again, so we've got this Edward Harvey guy. We have to start rejecting people soon because it's almost filling up. And now we've got someone on the telemetrist as well. So that's interesting. They've actually changed the name of that because that was a data analyst before, but now they've changed it to telemetrist. So I guess that kind of makes more sense. Kind of flows a little bit better as well as the tongue. So that should take us right up to week 10 now, the Qatar Grand Prix. So that's been a lot of build up to this point. I do apologise for that, but that's what you kind of get with your first episode of career. You got to sort out all these things at the very start. Again, we've got more people applying. We'll have to have a proper look through some of the stats. But all I see is way more money they cost, and they're not gonna. They are gonna give us a fairly decent benefit. So, that Ryan Johnson's not bad. But actually, Alessandro Albergoni, I'm gonna keep him on because he's a B level, and that is quite good to pick up a B already. So we'll reject the C+ guy, and we'll see if any of these are B. No, these are all C+, so we'll leave them for now. But it's quite good that we've already got someone B rated that wants to join the team. So we'll keep them on until we've got a little bit more cash. Obviously, we need to see how competitive the bike is at this very first race as well. But the next thing to do now then is to actually head into that race. I'll see you at the end of practice. Hopefully we will have actually achieved all the objectives. It'll be interesting to see if they've added any additional practice programs to do this year. I doubt it, but it'd be interesting to see if there is any. So actually, it does seem like it has changed quite a bit compared to the previous game. We now have just different objectives that we have to achieve within the session. And we get a load of research data for that, and you actually get a lot as well. You get 350 for that one, 350 for all of them except this top speeds, and top speed's worth 250, so you just have to hold the RT and that's 250 research data for you. Lap by lap, improve your time 3 consecutive times, so get through into the top 12, that's one of them as well. Clean lap, so do a 2 minute 10.1, 2 minute 10.4. I'm actually not sure what the AI difficulty is. I never checked it before this session, so I probably should go back and quickly go check that one. So then, good job I actually went and checked because the race was set to 50%, which I didn't want. It was a bit too long, and the AI were only on 80, and I have decided to actually do 120% on the career mode anyway, despite how badly the first impressions video went, because I did a couple of laps around Qatar in a 120% race, and I could keep up with the AI fairly easily, so hopefully it should all go pretty well, but knowing my luck, it'll be absolutely atrocious. So how do we actually head out onto track? Do we just have to... Do we press A to show it on the hood? Can we... Oh, we can add several, so I'm going to add them all to the hood. So you can only actually select 2 of the development tests at a time. I don't know whether you can actually do the others without having them selected, but I've got these 2 to show on my display, so I know what kind of times I need to get. So I'll head out onto the track, and hopefully I can do it. So then, at the end of my runs in... Oh, Mino's just gone down. I was about to say, at the end of my practice runs, I've ended up second behind Mino, and I've achieved pretty much all the objectives, aside from the one going top of the session, of course. But Mino was top, and he's just binned it there at the first corner, but it seems like he's alright. He's got back on, and doesn't seem to have affected him. So I'll end this practice session here. Just probably advance straight forward to qualifying, because we should be through into qualifying 2 with the time I did. Mediums, they are absolutely shredded, so I think I'm going to have to go hard in the race, because I've only done literally 4 laps, and you can see that's the condition of the tyres. I don't think I could do another lap with that. Perhaps in the race I could look after them a little bit better, I'm not too sure, but I don't think a medium tyre on either the front or the rear is going to work in the race. So in the end of the session then, we actually ended up in 3rd place, because Pedro Acosta has jumped ahead of us. You can see it's actually pretty close between Mino, Acosta, myself and Binder. Alcoba not a million miles off as well. Not sure what's happened to McPhee, some of the other top runners a little bit further down the back. But they'll probably improve in the next free practice sessions. But we're heading straight into qualifying. Hopefully we'll get into Q2 straight away. Hopefully we won't have to go through qualifying 1, but we'll have to find out when we get there. So in the combined sessions, then we actually ended up in 8th place because we didn't do a better time in the second session. Seems like the AI did actually improve, but only by a few tenths, so nothing to worry about. But we're going straight through into qualifying 2, so that is really good to see. So who's in this session with us then? The usual ones you'd expect, obviously both the Petronuses, both the IO bikes. Rusai Yamanaka has got through from Q1. Same with Antonelli, our teammate, so that's good to see. Dennis Onchu as well, and Romano Fenati. So those are the 4 riders that have gone through from qualifying 1. So we've got to change the obviously the tyres and the fuel. So we'll go soft because of course it's a qualifying lap. Not going to go with anything other than that. We'll go fairly low-ish fuel. It's giving me in litres. I don't know how many laps that is though. Unless it's yeah, actually I was about to say it's giving us in litres, and I realised that next to it says kilograms. I think that must be number of laps. So I'll put in 5.5 because I'm not going to do a ridiculous amount of laps. So we'll head out onto the track then, and hopefully we can do a pretty decent lap. Oh, that caught me off guard a little bit into the last corner. The soft tyres do have so much more grip. This is unbelievable. Compared to those mediums, wow, I feel so fast. So currently McPhee's actually on pole with a 2:09.0. That's a whole second slower than they were going in practice on presumably harder tyres. So I'm assuming that's not the best that AI have got. So this first lap might not be too representative where we actually end up on the grid. So coming up towards the line then, this actually probably hasn't been a fantastic lap. I think it actually might be a little bit slower than what we did on the medium tyre, so that's quite interesting. Never mind, we did a 2:07. I was going to say that it was slower, but that's the fastest lap of the weekend so far. So we'll have to see what the AI have got to say to that one. So 1.2 seconds currently in front of John McPhee, but I presume that's not what the AI's, you know, that's not their best time at 2:09, because we've already saw them do a 2:80. So we'll head back to the pits, and we'll fast forward, and if we need to go out again, I will. So then at the end of the session, it was so close, just on pole, 91 thousandths ahead of Darren Binder in second place, and Andrea Mino a couple of tenths behind in third, Acosta in fourth, and John McPhee in fifth place. But honestly, I did not expect a couple hours ago that I'd be sitting on pole for the first Moto3 race of the season. But I actually am starting to get the hang of the Moto3 bike. It's actually really satisfying to ride because it is actually about carrying the corner speed, it seems, on this year's game compared to the last one where you could really just gas it out of the corners. You just shred the tyres if you do that on this game with the Moto3. You just shred the tyres. So it actually is really, really satisfying to ride. I'm happy with that pole position. So let's get this race started then. Hopefully there'll be a good battle. I don't want to pull away from the front. I'm getting flashbacks to obviously the last season. I don't want to race like on MotoGP 20 where I had the wrong AI difficulty and I won by about 12 seconds in the first race. 5-lap race then. Let's get into it. So then in practice I actually said I wasn't going to go for the medium, but I think I will anyway. I know that makes no sense to go against what I was going to say, but the game is recommending medium tyres to me, and I think I could probably make them last the 5th lap. Obviously, they were pretty shredded by the end of the 4th lap, but that was after 4 qualifying laps going flat out, and the first few laps of those as well. I wasn't used to how much the tyre was actually going to wear, so I'll stick with medium. It could be a decision that I come to regret. But it is all part of the learning experience, of course, with a brand new game. So medium tyres then, 5-lap race. Let's get this one started. Just on pole position ahead of Darren Binder then. Let's see if we can keep the whole shot down towards the first corner.
Qatar Motorcycle Grand Prix will start shortly here in Doha, with the riders ready to compete on this amazing floodlit racetrack.
So then, on pole position, Darren Binder alongside Mino on the other side of the front row, holding in the clutch up to first gear, waiting for the lights to go out here at Qatar. Lights out, and away we go to power mode 2, because I started power mode 1 trying to save that fuel, but we've had a terrible start. Binder's gone flying past us. So has Acosta, so has Mino, so has McPhee now. As we go down towards the first corner, we've got to brake nice and deep into this first corner. Just keep it in front of Garcia, who's trying to force his way through, trying to push me a bit wide, pushing me towards the back of McPhee. We've kept that 5th place, so it's not been the best start, but it's not the end of the world. Still in the top 5. Oh, almost cut that corner there, and that could have been pretty bad. Would have got a track limits warning for that, and probably would have fell off, because we're on the grass, of course. But it's alright, we've got 5 laps, no need to panic. We're in 5th place. See if we can pick off a couple more positions on this lap and just try and work our way back towards the front. The AI taking a weird line through there. I followed them. It's a crash by Rodrigo's down. Rodrigo and somebody else crashed behind me. Not sure who it was. Just saw it on the indicator. It said it was Rodrigo and the rider behind him, but I'm not sure who actually was behind him. Another crash apparently. Free track now. They're all gone so wide through turn 6. What are they doing? I'm trying to get out the power as early as I can. Unfortunately, wasn't quite able to capitalise on that one. So McPhee still in front of me. Acosta right in front of McPhee. I almost hit McPhee at the back there. That might leave me vulnerable. Not quite. Again, they've not took the most ideal line through that corner. We're closing up to the back of John McPhee now. I want to stay off that curb because you cannot turn on the curbs on this game. Closing up to the back of McPhee once again. I would have thought about diving up the inside there on MotoGP 20, but again, not up to date on this game yet. But they've all gone so wide up the inside of John McPhee. Come on, no, McPhee's got more drive than me. He got out the corner better, even though they all went so wide. I thought I carried the speed through perfectly. So, unfortunately, McPhee's still in front of me there as we go through turn 12. We've now got one of the layer pods, at least I think it's Dennis Fodger. I'm in the wrong gear, admittedly, so that might be why. Fodger up the inside. Oh, almost been in contact with Fodger there. So I was trying to straighten up the bike, and Fodger's down! Oh, okay, Fodger's just cut the curb on the inside, and down goes Dennis Fodger. So Fodger's just crashed right in front of us. Good job we weren't still on his outside, because we definitely would have been taken down with him, and that would have been extremely frustrating in our first race. I just realised I was in power mode 1 that whole time as well. I keep forgetting that power mode 1 is not the middle setting anymore, it's the bottom setting. So that's probably why the AI got away from me in front. I think they got a fair old gap. They got about a second, actually, John McPhee has. So we're going to stick to the right hand side. We've got a bit of a train here. Here comes Kaito Toba flying past us. So I think this is going to be the battle for 5th place. Now we've got Suzuki as well, and one of the well, I was going to say one of the Leopards, but it must be Artigas. It can't be Fodger, because we just watched Fodger wash out in front of us through the first corner. Then I've lost 2 positions to Suzuki and to Toba. We're back in front of them once again. That rear tyre is getting extremely hot though, so I might be regretting this medium already. But we've got Toba up the inside, round the outside. Then I've Kaito Toba still sat in 5th place. It is now over a second to the gap to the leaders in front, so I've got to hope that they start battling with each other, which actually looks like they are a little bit, because I need to bridge that gap to them. Oh, it's been another crash. Artigas and Toba have now got as well, so the AI is crashing together on these corners. It's so strange. I wonder if the guys behind, obviously Rodrigo on the first lap as well, did the same thing that Fodger did later on in the lap, but Suzuki just bashed me out the way. I was watching the AI in front go really, really wide, and I guess Suzuki was following that line, so he just bashed me out the way. So we're down to 6th place once again. So I think that's definitely any shot at the victory out of contention now. Look how much I'm suffering with that rear tyre as well. I definitely should have gone for the hard tyre. The medium was definitely the wrong choice. Look how hot it is. Oh, another crash behind Fenati. Oh, and quite a few riders down with him. So again, that corner bites, and I think that must be just a bug with the AI. We followed Suzuki through that corner on the curb. I thought it was actually going to get track limits warning. I thought it was going to turn in too early, but luckily I'm actually just keeping on the curb, so no track limits warning there. Through the last corner, there is some battling from the leaders in front. I've actually got a pretty good exit off the last corner. We're close up to Suzuki. We're too close for a slipstream, actually. It kind of hampered me getting such a good run, but here we go, side by side with Suzuki. We're going to be back up into 5th position, and we're actually only 8 tenths now behind the leaders. They're fanning out over the straight. Fastest lap of the race to me there, I think, 2:08. No, Garcia's now done it as well. Dennis on Chu. So every rider going further back and doing the fastest lap. And look how wide the leaders are. The leaders are really battling now. And with a couple of laps to go, they're definitely putting themselves at risk of us catching them back up here. I thought the battle for the lead was absolutely over for me, but it doesn't seem that way. It seems like we actually still have a shot, because we're now only half a second behind, where at this point on the previous lap we were a whole second back, and they've just leaked all that time through that last sector and a half by battling, and they've all made a big mistake through this corner, gone super, super wide. We're now all over the back of them. I've actually caught them up entirely. Don't know what's going on with the AI and these trajectories, but they're taking such tight lines through all these corners, and it's tripping them up. They're crashing and stuff, and you see they've all gone wide on the exit of this one. We've passed Acosta and McPhee up the inside, so we're now back up onto the podium. All of a sudden, this has come from absolute nowhere. Darren Binder taking a good old look behind. You can see that right behind him is Mino, and right behind Mino is me. So I thought we were going to be battling for 5th position about a lap ago, but we're back in the group with the leaders again. And the rear tyre! There is nothing left on that rear. Look at it. It just almost threw me off, actually, through that section there. We've got Acosta closing up to us. We're trying to carry the quarter speed here. We're close up to the back of Andrea Mino. We've got to think about making a move on him here so we can get back onto the back of Darren Binder. I can't believe that the win is still on the cards here after that shocking first couple of laps. There we go then. We've got to watch out that no one in front of us crashes through this section of the track. And Mino's gone down. Mino actually has gone down. So I think it's when they're going defensive through that corner. It's where they're crashing. And he collected somebody else with him behind. Binders has made a big mistake through the penultimate turn. Look how much he cut the corner. That cost him so much as we go down towards the last corner. Then we're going to have a move on the inside of Darren Binder into this last corner, surely. Yes, we are. That was aggressive. I didn't mean for it to be so aggressive, but we forced Darren Binder a little bit wide. Dive bomb Darren. We did the dive bomb on Darren this time. And here we go up towards the line then. About to start the penultimate lap of the race. We're back in the lead. So after what was a dreadful start, obviously we lost a lot of time to the leaders as well, battling with Suzuki. New fastest lap of the race at 2:08.0, which in race trim is pretty good. Considering pole was a 2:07, what was it, 2:07.8 or 2:07.7, something like that. So only a couple of tenths off pole in race trim. I'll take that. I kind of feel almost as if I should give the place back to Darren Binder because it was such an aggressive pass, but honestly, the AI are just making so many mistakes here. I'm kind of scared that they're going to take me out, so I'm glad to be in front of them. And we can see that both the Petronas boys are on the podium now because McPhee is up into 3rd position. As a crash behind, oh! I think I might have been McPhee. I think I cursed him. Yes, it is. So McPhee is down. So many riders crashing on the curbs here. It's absolutely crazy. Suzuki is now actually up into 3rd place. He's passed Acosta. Macia's passed Acosta as well. So Macia's actually got in front of his teammate now. And there's been another crash behind. Look at the track map actually in the bottom left-hand side of the screen. You can see there's just clusters of AI everywhere because they're crashing in packs. I have no idea what's going on. Hopefully there's a kind of a patch to fix this because they just seem to be crashing by just turning in too early. And we saw it actually in my previous video. Alex Marquez did the same thing at Jerez through the Cito Pons corner, turned in way too early and had a massive accident all on his own. And it seems like they're also doing it at this circuit as well. We've got a wide to the penultimate turn and Binder's back through. There has been another crash behind us though once again. So not sure what's happening in this race. So many riders are crashing here. Binder's gone super tight through the last corner. That's going to cost him so much. The run out of the last corner is so important here at Qatar. And we once again retake the lead. So I made a mistake. Binder goes back through. Binder makes a mistake. I go back through. It seems just to be tit for tat so far in this race. And me and Binder, we've got a break over the rest of the pack. So down on this last lap, it's between me and Binder. But I've got no grip left. Look how little grip there is on that tyre. I was going to try and bring it on home without making too many mistakes. Binder up the inside once again then. Side by side with Darren Binder. A little bit of contact with him. I didn't mean to. I'm stuck on him. I can't get off him. I didn't mean to cut him up, but I got completely stuck on him there. And that actually might allow Yama Macia to close up to us a little bit. So Macia is past Suzuki. And Macia must be on an absolute charge. He's come from absolutely nowhere. I have no idea where he actually started this race from. It wasn't anything too bad, I don't think. But he was nowhere near the front group earlier on in the race. So I have no idea how he's gained all this time, but fair play to Yama Macia. We've got a little bit of a gap over Darren Binder then now. It's been another crash behind, but Binder is literally right behind me as we go through this penultimate turn. I've done it a lot better than on the previous lap. Down towards the last corner, then it's Macia that's gone down. I think, well, Macia's down in 7th place at least anyway. And I've got track limits warning there as we go into the last corner. Went too wide, but I think this might be enough. Wasn't in the right gear, they're out of here. We've got 2.4 laps of fuel left. Yeah, Binder's absolutely nowhere near us. So up towards the line then. We are going to win here. Our first race in Moto3. Went down to our last lap battle with Darren Binder, but we come out on top. So then 7/10 of a second we actually won in the end. So it looked like a bit more of a dominant victory than it was. Look at the gaps though. Pedro Acosta 3.8 seconds behind. Yama Macia ended up 7.2 seconds. So Macia must have crashed because Artigas crashed right at the end as well. McPhee ended up 10th. So yeah, everybody from 8th downwards fell off at some point in that race, is what I'm taking from that. And look how many retirements there are. Oh, wow. So Salach, Nepa, Fanati, Alcoba, Coughley, Cuddy, and Fodger all retired from the race. Well, there needs to be something done about this. There's too many crashes happening in a race. Because literally only the top 6, I think, didn't crash. In fact, might even only be the top 5, because Yamanaka could have crashed at some point. But Macia was sat in 3rd place and has ended up 7 seconds behind. So I take from that he definitely crashed on the final lap, or at least got caught up in somebody else's accident. Artigas, I know for a fact, definitely crashed, because I saw it come up saying he crashed. So many riders in that one crashing. Of course, the Riders' Championship looks exactly the same then, so we lead ahead of Darren Binder in 2nd, Suzuki in 3rd, and Lorenzo Fallon in 4th, with Pedro Acosta right behind him in 5th. In the Teams Championship then, we trail 658 by 1 point, so extremely close in this Teams Championship, and only 3 points in front of Petronas as well. So yeah, a pretty good start to the season there. So we'll head to the Career Hub now and sort of end off the episode there. Usually I'll probably do 2 races an episode, but since we had all the build-up before, we'll just do one for this first episode of the season.
This rider has been able to impose a frantic pace on today's race, and now he and his mechanics are rightly going to party.
So then, from that weekend, we gained 10,500 reputation, which more than doubles what we had, which takes up to 20,500. You can see, obviously, we met all the objectives in the race, and we got a little bonus for winning and being on pole as well. And overall, for the weekend, we gained 6,158 credits, which takes up to 51,059. But this is where it really counts for the bike development then. The research data, we passed every single objective except getting top of the timesheets, unfortunately, because really those first few laps I was on such dead tyres, there was no way that was ever happening. But we also have the VIP multiplier as well, because I pre-ordered the game, so we get 800 research data on the engine and 350 on the frame. So yeah, it is going to be fairly easy to get enough research data to upgrade all the parts, I would have thought. And we now have 11 notifications on the personal manager, so yeah, that's teams being interested in us. And we now have a medium interest with some pretty good teams, with 658, you know, with Grassini and Petronas Sprinter Racing as well. So that's actually really good to see that we've got some decent contracts already. I'm guessing there's none for Moto2 or MotoGP yet, which, you know, it is to be expected. I don't expect to have any from MotoGP or Moto2 yet. But we can now actually upgrade the engine once again, it's telling me. So we will go ahead and stick that upgrade on. Of course, obviously the research data that we just got, definitely worth it. So that engine upgrade, that'll start. That probably won't come in for another couple of episodes. Yeah, 4 weeks it's going to take. But we should have a new frame upgrade at the end of the next episode, because we do 2 races per episode. So well, from now on, we will be doing 2 races per episode. So we've got the Doha GP next. So we should actually have pretty good pace there, considering that it's the same track once again. So the pace that we had in this first race should transfer over. Maybe the AI will catch up a little bit. But I'm hoping they'll fix that bug where they all crashed, because it kind of ruined the race. I think it would have been a really good pack race if that hadn't have happened. It didn't. I don't think it really benefited me overall, the fact that they crashed. Obviously, a couple did crash in front of me, but I also did have to pace, and we had to pass Binder on track legitimately, and he was leading anyway. So it didn't help me in that way, but it was a bit of a shame that all those crashes happened. But really, really crazy way to start the MotoGP 21 career mode. So I hope you guys did enjoy that one. Hope you enjoyed the rest of your day. Part 2 will be out tomorrow. Daily uploads, but at least for a while anyway. I'm going to try and keep them up as much as I can. Apologies about how late this video probably will be coming out. I probably promised it the day before. I don't think I'm going to be able to get it out on launch day now, but nothing I could really do when we can't play the game till really late on. But like I said, I hope you did enjoy that one. Hope you enjoyed the rest of your day. Hope you're all staying safe, and I shall see you in the next one.